Hare Krishna. So, welcome all the devotees for the discussion on Nectar of Instruction. So, yesterday we discussed about the verse number 9 and 10. Half we did that verse number 10. To continue from the last part of the discussion, so I'll share my screen. Okay, we were discussing this verse. I will recite. कर्मेभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिनस् तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्तभक्तिपरमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्तता तेभ्यस्ताः पशुपालपङ्कजदृशस् ताभ्योऽपि साराधिका प्रेष्ठा तदवदीयं तदीयसरसि ताम्नाश्रयेत् कः कृति. Yeah, so yesterday we were discussing that how there are six categories mentioned here. The first is karmis, those are fruity workers. Greater than them is the gyanis, those who are practicing the path of Jnana Yoga. Tebhyo Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramaha. Greater than them are those who have accepted the path of bhakti majorly and have given up the path of Jnana. Greater than them is Premaika Nishtha, those who are unalloyed pure devotees, practitioner of Uttama Bhakti. Tatah tebhya tah pashupala pankaj drishah. So, greater than them are those who receive the sidelong glances of Krishna. They are the gopis. Pashupala pankaj drishah. Yeah. And then among them, the greatest is Radhika. Okay. So, and then Rupa Goswami concludes that Prestha Tadvadiyam Tadiya Sarasi, and equivalently as Radharani is dear to Krishna, is her lake also, that is Radha Kunda. Who will not take shelter of that Radha Kunda? That is the verse. So we were discussing this verse, and we had discussed about Gyanis, Karmis, and other two categories. And now we were discussing from here, the last part, that of all these devotees, the gopis are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna. So we read the phrase in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ishte Swarasiki Param Avishtata Tad Raga Bhavet. The definition of Raga itself was Ishte, towards the Lord, Swarasiki, spontaneously, Parama Avishtata, complete absorption in the Lord. Yeah, Tad Bhavet Tatva Raga. That is called Raga. And another place, Rupa Goswami also writes that the gopis have Krishna Sokhya Artham Eva Kevala Udyama. Their endeavor, all their endeavor is for what purpose? Krishna Sokhya Artham. For the purpose of pleasing Lord Shri Krishna. Eva, only. Kevala, only. Udyama, their endeavors. So two times Rupa Goswami is told. Krishna Sokhya Artham Eva Kevala. Two times emphasis is given. And they don't know anything other than satisfying the Lord, that is Krishna. Yeah, nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. So there is a category of devotees who try to serve Krishna because they receive pleasure in serving Krishna. But the gopis are higher than them. They serve Krishna not because they receive happiness in serving Krishna, but because Krishna is their whole and soul. And whether they receive anything in return or not, that is not their interest. Okay, that is completely upon Krishna. Okay. So as Srimati Radharani says in Sikshashtakam, verse number 8, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeats that. Correct. So she is saying that whether you embrace me or you trample upon me, okay, I am your servant. I am your lover, like that. Okay. So that is the mood. Yeah. So Krishna puts them into extreme suffering sometimes. But Rupa Goswami has explained that this extreme suffering called Vipralamba or the separation is not actually a suffering. Then how is it? It is actually a pleasure which looks like suffering. Okay. So he gives, Sanatana Goswami explains in Brihad Bhagavatamrita this concept. He says that it's like somebody, when he puts his hand in fire, his hand will get burnt and he will suffer. That is like the suffering of the material world. But imagine somebody holding a piece of ice, okay, in his hand. After some time, he will also feel the burning sensation. But that burning is not just burning as due to heat or the fire. It's cool. It's cooling. But the sensation one may feel is still burning. So when we are conditioned in the conditioned stage, when we see the gopis crying in separation, we may feel, oh, we are also crying in the material world. They are also crying in the spiritual world. All are crying. Whether you be here or there, everybody is crying. No, it is not like that. Sanatana Goswami clarifies in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. He says, no, it's like burning of the fire in the material world and burning of the ice in the spiritual world. Okay. So it's like somebody has given a Karela to us, but actually the shape and color is like Karela, but the content with which it is made is sugar candy. Okay. It's completely sweet, but the shape and the configuration of it is like Karela. So we mistake it to be like suffering because we have identified that crying with the suffering kind of thing. So the crying in the spiritual world is not having so much relevance with the crying of the middle world. Okay, the external features are same. It looks like Karela. This also looks like Karela. And we may think, oh, that also looks like Karela, so it maybe have bitter taste. No, but it is made up of the sugar candy. Okay, that how do we understand? We cannot understand. We can understand it when we reach to that level. Okay, now it is theoretical for us. Okay, so that's why indeed sometimes Krishna puts them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Okay, nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. Why? If they are actually suffering, they should have forgotten Krishna. But Sanatana Goswami explains that Krishna, he could have immediately left Dwarka and gone back to Mathura, gone back from Mathura to Vrindavan, actually. From Dwarka also he could have gone back. But why he doesn't go? Because actually they are not suffering. He knows it. Okay, Krishna knows actually they are not suffering. Actually, they are enjoying to the greatest level in separation. Okay, so we cannot go in deep into very depth of this concept because that is not the topic of discussion. But it's explained in Brihad Bhagavatamrita to some extent. Okay, and Prabhupada also actually he is highlighting that Vipralamba Seva Bhav here. We'll just come to that. Yeah, when Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis became most dejected. So again, in dejected word should be in the double quotes because it's not the dejection of this material world. Okay. It's the extreme pleasure which they receive in that dejection also. Okay. And spend the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. This means that in one sense, they were never actually separated from Krishna. Yeah. So this is the point. So it's explained in Lagu Bhagavatamrita also that Krishna, after he left Vrindavan, so he came back in a unmanifested form, okay, or prakata form in 2 days. Within 2 days, he came back. And then Krishna actually never leaves Vrindavan. That whole proof is given in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita. That how Krishna never leaves Vrindavan even for a moment. Okay. So Krishna is eternally present, and then gopis are never actually separated from Krishna. Because in the manifest world of Vrindavan, it seems that Krishna has gone to Mathura, but in the unmanifest form, in the Aprakat Leela, he is always there with the gopis. Okay, that is the explanation given. And then physically also he returns after a few years, after around 20, 30 years, after he kills Dantavakra and Viduratha. Then Rupa Goswami gives the evidence from Padma Puran that how Krishna, after taking bath in Yamuna, comes back to Vrindavan. And then he sends all the Vrindavan Vasis to the spiritual world, and then he goes back to Dwarka. Okay. So Dwarka Krishna goes back to Dwarka, and Vrindavan Krishna goes back to the spiritual world. That is evidence given in Lagu Bhagavatamrita. So those are interested can read fifth chapter of Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Yeah. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Yeah. So gopis, when Krishna was not physically there, so they were absorbed into his thoughts. So Rupa Goswami has given two technical terms in Lagu Bhagavatamrita. He says, uh, third stage is Agati, where Krishna physically comes. Before that is the first stage called Vispurti. He says, Vispurti. What is Vispurti? Krishna suddenly manifests in Vraja when gopis are very intently and very seriously remembering him and remembering his pastimes after he has gone to Mathura. Okay. And there is uh, after 3 months, when Uddhava visits, all of us know that incident in Bhagavatam, that Uddhava visited Vrindavan, and then there is learning for him, and he prays that let me become a gulmalata or a grass, okay, or aushadhi, like that. He prays like that. Gulmalata aushadhi nam, like that. He prays in the Bhagavatam that let me become a grass or let me become a creeper of Vrindavan so that the gopis can trample on me. So after that visit of Uddhava, Lord Krishna is actually present there in a invisible form, okay, with the gopis. Okay. But actually, physically, he comes only after he has killed Viduratha and Dantavakra. So those details are there in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Rather, Vipralamba Seva, thinking Krishna in separation, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, is far better than serving Krishna directly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not to say that we should try to reject the service to Krishna directly. If that opportunity is there, we should surely take up. But we should not underestimate the service in Vipralamba Bhava. Okay. So there are some devotees who are talking with their video on to somebody else. I don't know whom they are talking. So if you are wanting to talk to somebody else, you can please keep your video off. It's distracting me if I see you. Okay. So thus for all devotees who have developed unalloyed devotional love for Krishna, the gopis are most exalted. Yeah. And out of all these exalted gopis, Srimati Radharani is the highest. Yeah. So as we discussed, gopis are highest because they are ready to put on stake their family relationships, their social image in the society. They have given up all that, and then they are still ready to serve Krishna. Okay, but there may be other devotees who may not be able to give up that. Okay, so why are they able to do it? Because they have that intensity of devotion that they can do it. Okay, it is not to say that other devotees are not good. Everybody is perfect, whether they are queens of Dwarka or there are Pandavas in Dwarka or there are devotees of Mathura or there are devotees of Vaikuntha. Everybody is perfect in their position because they are serving the Lord they want and Lord is receiving the service that he wants. Everybody is perfect. But when we see devotees praying like Uddhava, just now I mentioned that Uddhava is praying that let me become a grass in Vrindavan so that I can receive the foot dust of gopis. What he is praying is not to become a gopi. He is not wanting to change his position to become a gopi. But actually what he is wanting is to receive the intensity of the service that gopis have. Okay. So he is praying for that intensity. Let me also gain that intensity that gopis have for Krishna. So he doesn't want to change his Swarupa or change his service. He is there in Dasyaras. So he doesn't want to change that. But he is wanting that intensity that gopis have in Madhurya Ras. So if we consider the highest intensity in which rasa it is there, then it is there in the Madhurya Ras. Okay. And who has that? The gopis have that. Where is it written? It is written in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. So those who are interested, they can see that. Yeah, just 1 minute. Yeah. No one can excel devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Yeah, so Prabhupada is mentioning that how among all these gopis, Srimati Radharani is highest. So if you see this verse, there is a very important thing to be noted. So here is saying that Tebhya ta Pashupala Pankaj Drisha, those who are receiving the sidelong glances of Krishna, they are gopis. Tabhyo, among them, api, even greater than them, is Sa Radhika. Okay, Sa Radhika. Okay. So if you take this term, this can be also broken as Sar and Adhika. Okay. Sar means the essence. Adhika means greater. Okay. that the essential love which is there in the gopis, okay, that is even more in somebody. Who is that? So Rupa Goswami has not directly written here that what is greater in her, but in alternate reading we can see it's mentioning here as Sar and Adhika. According to rules of Sanskrit, we can break it like that. The essential things are greater in greater quantity in somebody. Who is that? Sa Radhika. That is Radhika. Okay, like that. So that's what here Prabhupada also is indicating. Yeah. So Srimati Radharani is the highest. Yeah. No one can excel the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Yes, because she is Sara Adhika. Yeah. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he took the position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. In this way, Rupa Goswami gradually concludes Srimati Radharani is the most exalted devotee of Krishna, and that her kunda, that is Sarasi, okay, her lake, Sri Radha Kunda, is most exalted in among all the different holy places. So he has quoted, basically this verse was quoted by Radharaman Das Goswami in his commentary, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu. So this Prabhupada also quoted here. Okay. And Prabhupada is concluding, therefore, everyone interested in Krishna consciousness should ultimately take shelter of Radhakund and execute devotional service there throughout one's life. This is the conclusion of Rupa Goswami in the 10th verse of Upadeshamritam. So, as we saw, 8th verse concluded that how among all the places, Radhakund is the highest, and then one should perform a particular bhajana there that is explained in 9th verse. Okay, and then 10th verse, we saw how among all the devotees, Srimati Radharani is the highest. Okay, and now next verse we will see that how this Radha Kund is to be worshipped and what is its position also. Okay, anybody has any question on what we discussed on this verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned one verse.
Your voice is too low. Just 1 minute. Huh? My volume okay? Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
audible. Yeah,
okay now?
yeah, better.
You said na one verse, Krishna Sakhya Artham Vala verse. Which verse is this, Prabhuji? Is it mentioned in the purport or
No,
somewhere else?
no, that
No?
verse is from Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Krishna
Okay.
Saukhyartham Eva Kevala Udyama. Okay. So I will try to find out that verse and then I will send it. Okay. Okay. That is a question, na Mataji. That where is that
Yes.
first? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else has any question? Okay. So what we will do is we have a commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I will show that also. Then we'll go to the next verse. Yeah. Piyush Varshini Vritti. Okay. Shashwati Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Among the many varieties of sadhakas found in this world, the devotee of Bhagavan who performs bhajan while residing on the banks of Sri Radha Kund is the best and the most dear to Sri Krishna. This is described in this 10th verse. More dear to Krishna than the followers of the path of karma are the jnanis who search after the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. More dear to Krishna than all the varieties of jnanis is a pure devotee who has abandoned the attempt to understand the absolute truth through the cultivation of knowledge.
Just 1 minute. Yeah. Continue.
Amongst all varieties of pure devotees, the Premi Bhakta, or one who dearly loves Krishna, is the most dear to him. Amongst all varieties of such loving pure devotees, the Vrajagopis are the most dear to Krishna. Of all the Vrajagopis, Srimati Radhika is Krishna's dearmost, and her pond, Sri Radha Kund, is similarly dear to him. Therefore, the intelligent person who possesses sufficient accumulated devotional merit, Sukriti, will most certainly reside on the banks of Sri Radha Kund and within the mind render service to Sri Krishna's eightfold daily pastimes.
Yeah, so almost everything we have learned till now. The last thing I wanted to highlight. Yeah, so what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing, therefore, the intelligent person who possesses sufficient accumulated devotional merit, what he's talking about is Sukriti. Sukriti. Kriti means deeds. Su means good, good deeds. Okay, Sukriti. What kind of good deeds he's talking about? He's not talking about some normal deeds. Talking about devotional good deeds, which produce devotional credits that transform into Shraddha. Okay, how one gets faith in bhakti is by doing agyat sukriti. We have heard many times. So agyat means unknown. While the person is not knowing that, oh, this is prasadam or this is some kirtan of the Lord, glorification of the name of the Lord. He's not knowing that this is about the Lord, but he is still accepting it in some way. Then he gets agyat sukriti, then he gets faith. What he's talking about is not some agyat sukriti of normal kind. He's talking about agyat sukriti of raganuga kind. When one gets sukriti of Vaidhi sadhana, he gets faith in Vaidhi sadhana. When one gets Sukriti of Raganuga sadhana, he gets faith in Raganuga sadhana. What is Raganuga sadhana? Raganuga sadhana is that where one follows after a personality of Vraja. How does one get that? He gets it by associating with a person who is following that path. Okay, he gets Sukriti from that person. So among many of lifetimes which we have spent in material world, we would have got some Sukriti of Vaidhi sadhana, we would have got some Sukriti of Raganuga sadhana also by coming in touch with sadhus who are following each of the paths. Okay, like that. And at some time, our Vaidhi sadhana may mature into Ragana sadhana when that threshold is reached or when that Sukriti is reached to 100%. Then we will have a greed in our heart that, oh, I am attracted to such and such rasa or such a such person in that rasa. And then I would like to follow him. Okay, like that, those desires will start coming. So that is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking here. It's not some normal good deeds of the material world. It is spiritual, not some normal spiritual deeds also. It's something which is related with the Raganuga sadhana. Okay. Then he is saying that intelligent person will most certainly reside on the banks of Radhakund. How? May not be physically always. Okay. Because as taught by our Srila Prabhupada, he never resided at the Radhakund banks physically. But he was always a greatest devotee of Srimati Radharani by preaching her glories. Okay. And establishing a society for Krishna consciousness actually. Okay. So that is more about being there with one's consciousness than being there physically. And if one gets a chance to visit Radhakund physically, then one should not say, no, 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 I don't have to visit it physically because I have to just do mentally, right? No, it's not that way also. If we get an opportunity, we should visit physically and take the benefit. But at the same time, understand the essence of the instruction. And within the mind renders service to Sri Radha, Sri Krishna's eightfold daily pastime, Ashtakaliya Leela. Ashta means eight, Kaliya means the time, Leela means pastime. So that thing Prabhupada is going to tell in the next verse. I'll come to that. So yeah, so very important thing is within the mind one has to render the service. He has not said to render service physically only. Okay. So sometimes devotees ask also, how should we take bath in Radhakund? Should we take bath in Radhakund? It's very important to understand it's not something which is physically to be done only. It's some service to be done in mind. Okay. One need to take bath in the Radha Kund, if possible physically also, that will be told in the next verse. But more important is to take bath in Radha Kund mentally. Okay. So I'm just pointing out that here we'll discuss in the next verse. But this is the point. Within the mind, one should render the service. Okay. Okay. So other things almost is the same by other acharyas. So we'll just go to the next verse. कृष्णस् उच्च प्रणयवस्ति प्रेयसीभ्योऽपि राधा कुण्डं चास्य मुनिभिरभितस्तादृगेव व्यधायि Yat preshthar api alam asulabham kim punarbhakti bhajam tat premedam sakridapi sarah snatir avishkaroti. Hare Krishna. So, okay, before we continue, I'd like to say that this meeting is 40-minute meeting because we didn't get a full Zoom ID today. We had changed our timings. So if it is going to end, I will tell you, and then all of you can join again. Okay. So I think almost we have 30 minutes done. Yeah, 10 more minutes. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, somebody can read the translation. Samir Prabhu, would you like to read translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, yes. Please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Vrajbhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect, her divine kunda is described by great sages as similar dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kunda is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Yes, thank you very much, Prabhuji. So, yeah, we will see the meaning of this verse word by word. Krishnasya uchya. Hmm. Krishnasya means Shashti Vibhakti, six. So he's saying that of belonging to Krishna or of Lord Shri Krishna, like that. Uchya. It is very normal Hindi word. Uchya is something higher, higher, uh, like that. Pranaya. Pranaya is a very high object, not object, very high level of love. So if you remember previously, I told after prema there are six more stages: sneha, man, pranaya, raga, anurag, mahabhav. These are the six stages after prema. Okay. So sneha, then there is man, then there is pranaya. Okay. So after prema there is third stage which is called pranaya. Okay. Pranaya vasatihi. Okay. So vasutu, from that vasatihi. So object of love. Prabhupada translated pranaya vasti is object of love. Preyasi. Preyasi is a female lover. Okay. Preyasi. Preyasi bhyo means it's a bahuvachana. Means many are there. Many lovers. Okay. So who are the female lovers of Krishna? They are the gopis situated in Madhurya Ras. Among all those preyasis, Api is somebody exclusively told. Api. Who is that? Radha. He is Radha. And cha asya and her. Cha and asya her. Something belonging to her. What is belonging to her? Kundam. Her kunda. Okay. Her kunda. What happened to that? Munibhi abhitah. Okay. Uh, by the great sages in all respects, similarly described. Tadrig eva vyadhai. So the respectable sages have considered the kunda in the same respect as Srimati Radharani. That is the meaning. Just like we consider Srimati Radharani among all the preyasis highest, similarly Radha Kunda also is considered the highest among all the pious entities or pious lakes or rivers, whatever. Okay, so they have considered it to be highest. Yat preshtharapi. Preshtha means something which is lovable or something which is dear. Yat preshtha. Okay, which. Okay, here. Okay, preshtha. Okay, preshtha here belongs to Krishna. Okay, that which is dear to Krishna. Who is dear to Krishna? The most advanced devotees. That's how Prabhupada is translated. Okay, most advanced devotees. Preshtha. That which is dear to Krishna are his devotees. Api. For them also, asulabham is also difficult to obtain. Sulabha means something which is easily achievable. Okay, love means to get. Sulabh means easily get. Asulabh means very difficult to get. Alam means something which is totality or completeness, wholly. Or here Prabhupada written as enough. Okay, Kim Punar Bhakti Bhajam. Then what to speak of? Okay, what to speak of? Whom? Bhakti Bhajam. Those who are engaged in devotional service. And then he's saying Tat Prem Idam. Idam means this. Tat Prema, that love of God. Sakridapi. Sakrid means even once. Okay. Even once. Sarah, Sarah, which Sarah? That Sarah which is told in the line previously. Radha Kundam. Okay. That Sarah. Snatur, Snana Karna. Snan Karna means Snatu means to take bath. Okay. Avishkaroti. आविष्कार करना आविष्कार होता है उसका आविष्कार मीन्स समथिंग विच इज aroused or something which is discovered like that. Okay, here Prabhupada arouses in him, something is aroused. Okay, by what process? By taking bath. What arouses? Tat premedam, love towards her. Okay, that kind of love, that which the gopis have, that kind of love which Shrimati Radharani has, that love will be aroused. How? Sakridapi snatuhu. In what? Saraha. Which Saraha? Kundam. Whose Kunda? Asya Kunda. Who is that Asya? Radha Rani's Kunda. Radha Asya Kundam Sakridapi Snatu Avishkaroti. What? Tat Premedam. That love will be Avishkrita in that person's heart. Okay, that is the meaning of this verse. So, in simple words, that among Krishna's devotees, there are many people who are lovable. Among all of them, Radharani is highest. And the greatest of the Munis have considered her Kunda also to the same degree high. Okay, it's high to the same degree. Okay, and those who are very, very lovable to Krishna, Yat Preshta, for them also it's very, very difficult. What to speak of the normal devotees, Bhakti Bhajam. So, by once taking bath in that pond, one will arouse love similar to the love of gopis. That is the point. That is the meaning of the shloka. Okay. Now we'll read the purport. Yes, Mataji, Priya Gaurang Mataji. Yeah.
Prabhuji, what is attained meaning? Like Radha Kund is very rarely attained.
Uh,
I mean, I didn't get it, Prabhuji. Like after we leave this world or what? Like
no,
to
no, no.
attain.
The consciousness to take bath in Radha Kund is very rarely attained. Radha Kund is very easily attained. But the consciousness in which one should actually take bath to receive the love as the gopis is very rarely attained.
Okay.
Yeah, that is possible only for the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and among them also those who follow Raganuga sadhana for them. That's the meaning. Okay. It's not about Radhakund being physically attained. It's about Radhakund being attained with that consciousness. That is the meaning. Okay. Okay. So we'll read the purport of this. Okay. Neha Mataji, would you like to read?
Why is Radha Kund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake Sri Radhakund is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radha Kund and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidehi Bhakti.
Yeah.
It
Just
is
1 minute. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Thank you. So here, first few lines we have already discussed that how the Radhakund is very glorious and it's almost similar to the verse. Indeed, Krishna love for Radhakund and Radharani is the same. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Radhakund is very rarely attained. Yes, this also we discussed. Even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service. Not to speak of ordinary devotees. Yeah, ordinary devotees means Bhakti Bhajam, Kim Punar Bhakti Bhajam, that was told, who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. So basically, Prabhupada is bringing out the translation in this way that the Bhakti Bhajam are those who are practitioners of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And where do the Vaidhi sadhakas go? Their destination is Vaikuntha. Okay. Because they have awe and reverence while they are practicing Vaidhi sadhana. So they will reach a place where they have awe and reverence towards the Lord. That is very simple. But Raganuga sadhana is following a Vrajavasi who themselves don't have awe and reverence towards Krishna, but they have a relationship of sweetness with Krishna. So they will also reach to that place where there is sweetness in relationship with Krishna. Where is that place? That place is Golok Vrindavan. Okay, and Raganuga sadhanas will only reach Golok Vrindavan, where the sadhakas will not reach. So now the verse is saying Tat Premedam. That love which is there among the gopis will be aroused in the heart of a person who takes bath in Radha Kund. So where are gopis situated? Gopis are situated in Vrindavan. So how will one develop a love which is similar to the gopis? By taking bath there. So for taking bath, if one is a follower of Vaidhi sadhana, he will not get the result of getting a love of gopis. There is a possibility in future when he comes in association with those sadhus, he may get. But if he is a practitioner of Vaidhi sadhana, then mostly he will not get the desired result told in this verse. What is the desired result? Is that arousal of love, that which is there in the gopis of Vraja. That one may not attain if a Vaidhi sadhaka takes bath in Radha Kund. Okay, that is the point. Okay. Ashish Prabhu, you have anything to ask or share?
Prabhuji, what is this Vaidehi Bhakti?
Oh, sorry, what is the question?
Vaidehi Bhakti?
What is Vaidhi Bhakti?
Huh?
Okay.
Vaidehi.
Yeah, Vaidhi Bhakti is the normal Bhakti which we generally understand, where one follows the rules and regulations of Bhakti because the impetus is either the instruction of Shastras that one should worship Guru, one should worship Krishna. So by those instructions, he is having a impetus to follow the process of bhakti. What is the process of bhakti? Smaranam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, okay, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedan, all these 9 processes. He is doing why? Because Shastras are saying. That is Vaidhi Bhakti.
Okay. So this is a normal practice.
Yes, normal practice.
Vaidehi Bhakti.
Sadhana
But
Bhakti has 2
those
parts. Sadhana Bhakti has 2 parts. One is Vaidhi, one is Raganuga. Vaidhi Bhakti is that which is followed because Shastras are saying to do. Raganuga Sadhana is the other one.
Prabhuji,
so
the meeting
Vaidehi
is about
Bhakti
to
right now
end.
we are following.
Sorry, Anish Prabhu.
Meeting is about to end, Prabhuji.
Vaidehi Bhakti is
Okay, I
that
will
which is
restart.
we are following.
Yes, bro. I'll restart the meeting, then we will discuss. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll continue. Okay.
Okay.
So, devotees can
Yes.
join
Yes.
again.